business. It's business time. Hang tight, we're gonna get into the business right here in a couple minutes. Baby, baby. It's business. It's business time. All right, we are here, week 21 of It's Business Time with Denise Michelle Sisofo. Thank you so much for joining from Delcollo-Salvatore Realty, Patterson Schwartz.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having
Appreciate
me.
it.
Thank you.
Very nice. Bringing the crew out, the whole crew.
The whole dysfunctional bunch.
I
yes.
love it. And we're going to get to the advantages. We're going to get to some of the advantages of having a crew in small business here in a moment. Before we get rolling, I do always like to give a real quick shout out to Stitch House for having us right here on Market Street.
Stitch House.
Nice.
Nobody's here from Stitch House. Where'd he go?
Matt just walked in the back there, but another small business. They always have 12 beers on tap. They're right here on Market Street. Great food. And Dan's going to be opening up Local Post Barbecue over in Trolley soon. So
That's still under
support your
construction?
That's a whole story.
That's been
a
under
whole
construction
story.
since I was born.
But the red tape is gone, and
Yikes.
they're getting ready to open in the next month here. I'm looking forward to brisket and barbecue being on the menu here as well.
Definitely.
But so thanks again for Stitch House. Denise, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
And with that, we are rolling. So you are actually the first real estate professional we've had on the series. Believe it or not, we've had construction and printing and a couple people in the music industry and all that stuff. But real estate is a big, big market. Very, very important when it comes to investing, when it comes to just understanding. You know, many, many other businesses have to eventually buy a brick and mortar location. So real estate kind of weaves its way through lots of different small business.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get to what you're up to now here in a moment. But I do like to always kind of start with a little bit of background. So Denise, how did you find your way into real estate? What were some of those early days like, and what were some of the reasons that you moved into that space?
I've always dated real estate. I like to say I dated it because right out of high school, before I went to college, I was a paralegal, real estate paralegal for 2 different sole practitioners, and that was in the early 90s when refinancing was a big thing. So I did a lot of work that way, and then I moved to Philadelphia, and then I went to work for an architectural planning and design firm.
Okay.
And so I was learning a lot in the way of design, green. We were very on the cutting edge of green builds when no one else was doing it.
Gotcha.
So I again, worked there 10 years, and then I moved back.
And this was in Philadelphia?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Broad and Spruce. I was there. Yeah, the great firm. They did the Baltimore Inner Harbor plan.
Okay.
Camden Yards, and a lot of really big projects. They were really, really. Ed Bacon worked in my office, and once Kevin Bacon came in to see him, but I wasn't there.
Ed Bacon is that Kevin's dad?
Kevin's dad.
Okay, gotcha.
But I wasn't there because it would have been a situation.
Yeah. Well, you know about the degrees of separation, right? Isn't it 5 degrees from bacon?
It is.
Yeah.
I love bacon.
You have 1 degree.
But so I worked there, and then I got married and didn't kept commuting, and then I got pregnant, and then stopped working in Philadelphia, transitioned to Delaware, and was working for the health system, and then Christiana Care, and then I went to work for a pharmaceutical company. And then from there, I just was lost.
Yeah.
I was never happy. I always had a really good job. I was very fortunate and worked for the biggest of the big in these companies and had so many adventures. But I did it for the money, and I just hated my life. So COVID changed things. I was not working. I was supposed to go work for Nemours. That job got pushed and pushed because COVID came, and they kept saying, well, it'll be gone in a month. It didn't happen. So I took a position working for the Wilmington Housing Authority on 4th Street.
Oh, okay, wow.
Wow. And that was interesting. I learned a lot. I loved my coworkers, but it was a COVID funded, so I worked there a year. And then when that was up, I went to work for an investment firm in Greenville. Hey, I liked it. Good money. I hated my life. around this time, COVID was still kind of there, and they were doing the real estate classes online. And I was encouraged by lots of people in my life, Diane Salvatore, one of them, who's my cousin, not just by marriage. And she encouraged me to get it, along with Sal. He was very pushy and said, you can do this, you can do this. And it was online, and it was cheaper, and that's what I did.
So let's take a step back. So you were working with the 4th Street
I
group.
was working there, and then it was a COVID funded. That ended, and then I went to... Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was getting to, did they scout you? Did they see your skills in places and then come and get you? How did you, like, what was the...
Oh, I came for them because I needed to work.
Okay, gotcha.
I was supposed to go to Nemours, but they eliminated the position because no one was working in the hospital.
Gotcha.
It was all... So they eliminated that position temporarily, and I couldn't just not work.
Yeah.
So I
So
found...
you were looking for something that...
Yeah.
I mean, you said a couple times through that journey that you didn't like what was going on. You didn't like your life.
No.
And you were looking for, like, the next chapter where
Yep.
you really would like what
I just
you
didn't know what that was.
What
And
was, and I know they're sitting here now, so this might be, but what was the vibe that lets you know that this is the right team, right group of people? What was, you describe a little of that?
it just was really organic. So it was never forced. It just kind of felt like, okay, I work here now, and now this is happening. And it just kind of, we're very much like a family, like sisters, and we fight, and we laugh, and all of that. So it just was really, it just felt natural, and I was very happy from the very beginning.
That's awesome.
So I was working full-time, and I was only going to do this part-time. And about 3 months into it, I was busier than I thought I would be, and I had to make a decision, and I decided I'm going to leave a steady paycheck and become a self-employed person and single, and my life's going to fall apart.
Yeah, and it didn't.
No, it just kind of worked out, and it just kind of...
So when you say self-employed, were you 100% commission? Was there a base?
When you're a real estate agent, at least in my position, some other people have different situations. It's all commission. So even if someone buys a house today, I'm paid when it's closed, which could be 30, could be 60, could be 90 days. Or it could not happen at all because things happen.
I think that's something that across small business you see a lot of, which is, you plant seeds, and you have to plant enough seeds, knowing that not all of them are going to yield, are going to yield the bill pay, if you will, or keeping the lights on. And sometimes it can be a little bit discouraging when you plant a ton, and then that season, if you will, didn't fruit. So you started with them in 2021, about 2022.
Yeah, the second half.
Gotcha. And then was it like just roaring gangbusters start? Did it take a while to kind of ease into it? 'Cause you had been dating real estate for a while. At this point.
I was doing staging as well. And
Okay.
staging, I was doing luxury staging. I worked for a company. I was certified, and I did that for almost 2 years. So I knew, again, I was in the water. I knew a lot of the agents. I knew a lot of people. I was afraid. And one of the things that I'll always remember about when I decided that I wanted to do this full time, I said to Sal, why do people fail? And he looked me right in the eye and he said, fear. And that's the only thing holding you back is fear, because if you want to be successful, you will be. And it's just how it works. And he wasn't wrong. And I always remember that whenever I get scared, because I get scared a lot, because things are like this. And when they're like this, I get, I start looking for a job and other things like that. But then it always comes around. As you know, because we met this way on Facebook, that has been my cash cow. That's my sphere of influence. They tell us to work our sphere. I work it by just doing what I've always done. And about 90% of my sales and clients come from that source, and it's free.
Just to those listening, I mean, marketing and finding new business is a really important part of growing anything. And when you're in the Wilmington market, right, there's upsides of a smaller market, and there's, of course, downsides. And so, free marketing is super important. Obviously, social media marketing. I love your brand, by the way, for those who don't follow her. Very hilarious posts.
Shut up.
very hilarious posts, and it's not easy to do. A lot of people try to do that, fall on their face. So kudos to the work in the angle of making people laugh first, building a relationship first.
I really got picked on a lot.
Yeah.
I've been doing this since like 2009, and people used to say, "You live on Facebook. Your life's on Facebook.
Yeah,
you're,
yeah.
you're, and I got a lot of crap for it.
Yeah.
Like, get a life. Well, I have a bank account, so you
Right.
get a life.
Right, and I mean, this is last week. So I interviewed someone who's is part of a family business, and this is a big thing that we always emphasize on this show is that the humility it takes to ask for help, to use the places that work for you, and really just kind of like maximize the things that already come natural to you.
Yeah.
Because when people really spread themselves thin, it's when they're trying to do something they don't have the funds for it, they don't have the skill set for it, and things like that. One of the people who was in construction, he's like, I'm really good at construction. I have a hard time talking to people, right? So referrals are big for him. New clients are really tough for him.
Yeah.
But so 90% of your business was coming from Facebook market or Facebook. Do you do any Facebook marketing? Do you do any digital ads, anything like that?
No, I just do what I've always done. I mean, I'm starting to do like the reels. I'm never going to dance for you on TikTok because I'm not going to do.
Never say never.
Okay, you're right. Vodka, but I just don't. I'm just being myself, and it's working. Or I think it is. So it's just been real. It's actually kind of like breathing.
Yeah.
I get frustrated, and I get because I want to do so much, but I have a lot to learn, and that's where being on the team, Diane and Shayna of Delcollo and Salvatore, they've been in the business for 20 years they teamed up, and so what's great about that for me, especially if I was going to be full-time working and doing this on the side, is that I needed the support. You don't learn half of what you need in school. Yeah. It all comes later. You learn all about math and square feet. I can't even tell you what a square foot is.
Right,
I've never even needed that. But all the other things you learn by making mistakes. Right. And I've made some mistakes.
Yeah, she's of course joking.
No, I really 3.14.
No, but yeah, no, that's a great segue into making sure to surround yourself with good people, the right people. You kind of touched on the fear concept a little bit earlier, which is, a lot of times when I talk to small business counselors or consultants, that they bring that up a lot. It's just like you might be on the right track, you might be just about to dig down and hit a diamond. But then you worry, am I wasting my time? Am I wasting my life? And they change right before something's about to pop. And so, I mean, you got the whole team here. So you've got a wealth of experience as you were kind of growing up in this market. Some might call mentors, friends, things like that. And so you tell a little bit about what it's like being on a bigger team, like how you were able to kind of diversify tasks and, like you had mentioned, going on vacations and things like that.
What's fun about our team is we're all very different. And I've always been, even when I used to play sports, it was always what was so great about the teams I was on is everyone was so different. They all had a quality that made the perfect recipe, if you will. We're all very different. Shayna's different. Kim's. I am so different. I'm like, bleh, and everyone's like this. So it's fun because I think as a whole we work, and it's I don't know that I would be doing as well without that component. I think having the name has been helpful for me because they're trusted. I just get my license, and so I have that name backing me and helping me build confidence with people, saying, "Oh wow, well they've been around for a long time. She must be good." Yeah,
tell me a little bit. So a lot of people can't wrap their heads, or not can't, but often don't understand that, like, the real estate company, the Long and Foster's and Company and Patterson Schwartz, that's a product, right? But the team that is using that product is the small business, right?
Sure,
so
it's
this
almost
is a small business podcast.
Sure, it's very much like that. Like you think you have a broker, and your broker's kind of like the king, right? And you can't do business without your broker. And part of your business and the money that you make goes to the broker, who kind of takes risks for you as, the encapsulating king or
almost
whatever.
Like a franchise
Correct.
kind of thing,
So it's it's very different. It's for me. It was extremely. I was so scared. I was really scared all the time, but I would walk around like I didn't, or fear anything, and I got
it's
this.
It's a good one. Fake it till you make it.
I don't even think I was faking it. I was just. I was terrified.
There's another good one. Live your reality.
I lived my truth, which was pretty terrifying. But it just all sort of just fell into place. It was weird because then. I mean, and I don't want to. It sounds weird when I brag about it, but like within my first year, I had like a $2 million sale, and then $1 million sale, like which was huge for me. And I was like, "What is happening?"
Right.
And I didn't even understand until right before settlement how much my commission was going to be on the Rothbart's property. I didn't understand it was going to be, and I sat down finally and was like. And I went nuts. So my big thing on my team, I'm known for. I walk around when I get a really good listing or a sale. I walk around going monies.
Yeah.
And that's my thing. Like I'm. It's just so much fun to see it from beginning to end, and it doesn't always end well. Sometimes the whole thing will fall apart. Yeah. And
they told me. So I was 100% commission in a sales position at one point, and they told me never let your highest moments be. Never let your best moments be your highs, and never let your worst moments be your lows, right? But at the same time, that's really, really hard advice because you need to get excited when things are going well because that's what carries you through the droughts, the doldrums part. You know,
absolutely.
It's really clear that you have definitely the personality. I already want to go walk through a house with you right now.
We're going. We'll go break in somewhere. Yeah. So it's gonna be great.
As we were talking about earlier, I just purchased my first house about a year and a half ago.
He had a very green agent that worked for a company that I won't mention, and it was a nightmare.
No.
I kid. It was wonderful.
No, but you did touch on it, which is I learned firsthand how different an experience can be. It was a terrible experience for me. I'll be honest. It was terrible. At the end of the day, I got what I wanted. But that 6-month journey was stressful and painful. Lots of contracts, lots of negotiations, there was a couple phone calls of yelling like, this is my life. This is not your life. This is your 3%. This is my whole life.
Exactly.
Right? And there was a lot of that stuff. So empathy obviously is a big part when you're working with clients, understanding. So let's jump a little bit into what you guys do. This is a decent segue. So you're doing buying and selling, staging. You're doing the whole shebang.
Typically will offer to my clients staging, and it's part of my service, part of my commission.
While you're selling as well.
Unless it's like a huge house and it needs a ton of furniture, but it hasn't happened that way. I've done smallish stagings, and I just I throw that in because. So
where do you keep all the furniture when you're not staging?
I've been doing the you keep talking about Wilmington. I've sold a couple houses in the city, but most of my business has been in Sussex and Kent.
Oh wow!
At the beach. I grew up there. My family is all live there now, and so it's very close to my heart, and it's been very profitable for me. Yeah. So most of my business last year was in Lower Slower.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would love to dive into actual prices and listings and where the market's at, and if you had X amount of money, what would you recommend people doing? But that's probably for another time.
Yes.
The advisement portion, but back to kind of the small business side of things. So you're doing work in Wilmington, you're doing work in Sussex, Kent County. Things like that, and so where you're at now, you're doing the whole shebang. Do you guys do commercial as well? Commercial real estate?
We do.
Okay.
Speaking of, Diane's our commercial person, and she just split out a multi-million-dollar contract, and we're loving it for her. I get as excited for everyone else because I always go, where is it?
Yeah.
What happened? Whose is it? And it's like it's mine, and I do it all the time, and they laugh at me.
Yeah.
They laugh. They're like, because they've been doing it so long.
They laugh with you.
Well, no, they laugh at me because they've been doing it so long, and I get excited every single time.
Yeah.
Like I want to know everything about it, and they're just like, okay, well, this happened. But for me, every time it happens, I get excited. Like it's Christmas.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's good. Well, you definitely have the entrepreneurial spirit. I feel like it's one of those things that once people live that life, once they realize that they can reach out their hand, grab what they want, and bring it to them, it's almost impossible to ever work at like a 9 to 5 paycheck again, you know?
It's so funny that you talk about that, because one of the things I haven't had, this last year was my first full year. And I started my year out last year with some really big sales. So I was sailing and happy. This is the first time I felt like the beginning of a year, a January.
Right.
And I was getting a little scared, so I'm on Indeed, and I'm going, oh, God. And my anxiety is going, I'm like, I can't ever do that again, because I can't. And to even think about it, it makes me physically ill. But what's funny about this is every time I think, and Shayna, who's the other partner, she said to me, Denise, it always works out. And every time I get to the point where I'm almost going to have a panic attack, my phone rings, and it's the most unusual deal. It's like this, waterfront property, and then 10 other people are calling, and it just always works out. But I have to get used to that, because I still have to get used to it. It's,
Well, when you're in the mix, things can come, but as soon as you stop and leave, the opportunities,
Yeah, it's up to me, though. Everything, I think anyone can be successful in this business. Like, I'm going to just say Juliana, for example. That woman did like 100 open houses last year and sold so much her first year. And she worked her ass off. And because she didn't have she didn't have a choice. She was single mom, divorced, and she sink or swim. And she swam. And you can do well in this business, but you have to want it, and you have to work it every single day. It's continuity. And I have to get better at that, because I'm kind of like this.
Right.
I have too much freedom. So
Don't
I need
let your highs be the highest. Don't let your lows be the lowest. That's awesome. Well, in the interest of time, I do want to keep these digestible, around 20 minutes. So how can people find you? I'll point up here. We'll have website. I have your numbers and cards and stuff, so I'll put that up.
Great.
But outside of that, what's the best way for people to contact, whether it's residential, commercial, whatever it is?
Jail. I'm usually in jail. No.
Okay.
No,
So
I work.
check out jail.
I'm never in jail. I'm very. Just stop it.
Yeah.
Friend me on Facebook, because I'm always on there. Or
Denise Michelle Sisofo, and then the last name Sisofo, correct?
Yes,
okay,
sir.
So find her.
And
She's
I
hilarious.
work out of the Hockessin office, and I'm there, or I'm around.
Sisofo, sorry.
Sisofo.
But okay, got you. So Denise Michelle Sisofo on socials, and then
Patterson Schwartz Hockessin.
Patterson Schwartz Hockessin.
And you're going to
Check
post
out
my
the website here.
phone number, and
Post the number.
Our team's Delcollo-Salvatore. We do everything, and I've been doing it well
Buying,
for
selling,
long
residential,
time.
Commercial, all that stuff. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, was there anything else you wanted to mention? Shout out to the team or anything like that?
I just want to say thank you so much to these guys. These guys are like, you know who your people are.
Yeah.
They're the ones who show up. And I want to thank Diane Cry.
Okay.
I'm always thanking her, but
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, that's so wonderful. That really is, yeah. That's beautiful, though. I mean, finding your crew, finding your tribe is so freaking important, and it sounds like you have. I'm so happy for you. Denise, thank you so much for joining us. Week 21
Thank
of
you.
It's Business Time.
Yay!
Thank you all so much. Thanks, Stitch House.
Give
for
me all
having
your
us.
listings and all of your money. And
All
Paul,
the
you need to
listings.
move. Okay. Tomorrow, you're moving.
Paul's in the house. Paul, you need. All right. Thank you so much.
I'm calling
y'all.
the mayor.
Thanks, Stitch House, for having us. And
Thank you,
continue
Stitch House.
to have a great new year.
Woohoo!